Hello my gorgeous plant people, welcome back to Reading Mindfully. My name is Iana, and today I'm addressing some questions and concerns that I got on my last video when I put my plants outside. Alright, so I just wanted to make this video because I did get a lot of questions and concerns when I put my plants outside a couple days ago. And so I just want to say first off that if you're nervous or scared to put your plants outside, don't feel like you have to put your plants outside. I just make this video because a lot of people ask me what I do when I put my plants outside and how they do. And so I just was documenting this progress. I think this is my third or fourth year putting my plants outside, and honestly, they love it. It's the same thing when you go on vacation or when you go on a retreat or if you send your kids off to summer camp. Plants really do enjoy being outside, especially if you can give them that break. They really take off with the additional sunlight and just the wind and the natural humidity. So it really does help them. And as well as it gives me a break. My temperature in the house goes down. My household temperature can go really high when I have the plants inside. My humidity is high, as you guys have seen it. So when the plants are outside, it gives me a break as well. And so I find it very beneficial for both of us, not to mention that I don't have to run my Growlights. I'm only running one, and so my electricity bill gets a break. So that's the couple reasons why I put my plants outside, and just the overall experience. You might go to Italy, you might gain 10 pounds, but was your experience good overall? Yes. So putting my plants outside, one or two might get burned, might have a little bit of damage, but overall the growth will be worth it. So I think it's worth it. But anyway, I just want to answer some questions and concerns. First question I want to answer is concerning a covered porch. So I was a little confused by this. Guys can see, like, this is my patio. I do live in an apartment complex and I live on the first floor, so I was a little confused as to why people did say that I didn't have a covered porch or that my plants would burn. But I kind of thought it was assumed, but I do have newer subscribers and viewers. But I'm living on the first floor, so there's obviously a ceiling. And in the last video, that's why I had to put music in the background, because my neighbor upstairs was jumping rope. And so there is a ceiling. It's as covered as it's gonna get. I do have two open sides, but I don't know, you guys confused me. I had to Google that because I was just, this is pretty much covered. So, as well as, I'm not sure the direction of the sun. I will look at it, and when I find out, I will put it on the screen. But like I said in the other video, you just want to basically acclimate your plants to the sun outdoors. It's going to be way more powerful than it is indoors, no matter if you have south-facing windows. And so, you can bring the plants out in the shaded areas, because you can see, like, the patio is pretty shaded. There's no direct light, and that's how it is most of the time. It just happened to be that day because I get morning light. So most of the time, it doesn't have that direct light, as you can see. It's mostly shaded. So that's what you want to do. You just want to bring out your plants in shaded, area, and then move them out into bright light if that's what you have. But like I said, I have morning light hitting my patio, and so that's why it's looking like this. Or you can bring your plants out either before the sun comes up, and that way they can get used to it, or you can bring them out after the sun goes down. You can also acclimate them over a period of weeks. I also mentioned this before, and even Harley G has a video on this on her channel, where you bring the plants in and out of the house every day for a couple weeks. I personally don't have the capacity for that. I don't have the patience, I don't have the time, and it would just be too much for me to be moving all of these plants in and out twice a day for a couple of weeks. And as you can see, I do have some bigger plants. They are heavier. You guys saw me sweating in the last video, so to do that for a couple weeks is a no-go. I'm just gonna be honest, that's a hard pass. And so I basically just put my plants out here, and you know, most of them are doing pretty well. There's a couple that have wilted, but in 1 or 2 days they do pop, you know, bounce back. I mean, I can show you one in particular. My philodendron melanochrysum verrucosum cross. This leaf at the top had wilted, but as you can see, it's fine now, and you know, it bounced back within a day or two. So the plants do acclimate. You just have to give them a chance, and you also want to make sure that they're well watered. And so if you put your plants outside, you definitely want to check their moisture level so that make sure that they don't, you know, dry out too much. And speaking of watering, someone asked me how often I water my plants. Honestly, I'm not sure. I do check them every day in the evening. I just go around and stick the moisture probe. I won't check all of them, but I do make sure I check the ones that do like a lot of water, such as the alocasias. Like the Frydect here, I do make sure that I check this one. This one actually is starting to bloom, which is so crazy. You guys can see that. I'm not sure why it's coming out like that, but you can see that it's starting to bloom and I have more leaves. But so I do make sure to check my alocasias more frequently, and I check my anthuriums more frequently because they do like a little bit more moisture. So I mean, I check them every evening, just go by moisture probing, but I probably water them every 2 or 3 days, the same as I would indoors. And so yeah, you just have to keep an eye on your plants just the same as you would inside, and they should be fine. Another thing is concerning the type of plants I put outside. Someone said that snake plants die outside. That's actually not true at all. Snake plants actually like it outside, and because a lot of people like to say that snake plants are low light plants, which yes, they can tolerate low light plants, but if you actually do some research on snake plants, they can actually do well in brighter light and even direct light. There's actually snake plants that can be grown in full sun. And just to show you guys, this is my Sansevieria sayuri, and it's already putting out a pup here. And then this was the damage that happened, you know, from the cold damage. And you can see that another leaf had to be cut off, but it has calloused over, so that's an odor. But you can see that it's already putting out new pups. So snake plants are fine outside. I mean, they're just like every other plant. You can acclimate them and they will grow fine outside. I have a couple snake plants that I put outside. Some of them are already putting out pups, which is amazing. And I just figured that I put my snake plants out this time because like other people, I don't give them as much sun as, you know, or light as they deserve. And so I wanted to give them, you know, a little extra boost. I thought it would be nice. And they are really enjoying it. As far as, you know, snake plants being overwatered, I did watch I Love Julien's video when that happened. She went to Egypt for like a week, and you know, they had a lot of rain, so I don't feel like that would be my experience. I mean, obviously if it rains, the plants would be fine if it were to rain one day. What you want to do if it rains, you want to make sure you're keeping track of the weather. But if it's going to rain and it's only going to rain one day, you don't want to water the plant before it rains, so that way they won't be overwatered. Now, if it were to rain for 3 or, you know, up to a week straight, then obviously I would bring my plants inside so that way they wouldn't be overwatered. I mean, I'm not leaving my plants out here to fend for themselves. I mean, it probably does come off like that sometimes when I'm like pissed off about a plant, but I mean, I brought almost my whole collection out here. I'm just not gonna like desert them just because, you know, I just want a break. But if it rains for more than 3 days or so, I would definitely bring them inside, or I would bring them closer in because the rain doesn't come that far up on my patio, and so they would probably be fine if I would just, you know, bring them closer to the door. But Yeah, that's concerning rain and watering. And then just other things is this, like, just take a chance. If you want to try it, maybe just try one plant, and you don't have to bring out your whole collection, but just try one plant. If it does well, maybe try another plant, or you can just keep it at the one plant. You don't have to bring your whole collection out here. You don't have to feel pressured. This is, again, just like what I like to do. As far as pest and maintenance, you can do the same thing. You can spray your plants down while they're out here. You can keep up your same routine. The only thing I would say is that if you're doing your pest and maintenance, that you wait until the sun goes down, so that way you don't cause any additional burning or things like that. If you're spraying neem oil or anything, you don't want to cause any burning on the leaves. And so yeah, that's pest and maintenance. As far as humidity, I mean, I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on humidity. It's really not that important in the grand scheme of things, and you guys can do your own research on humidity, but actually the humidity is like worse outside than it is compared to my home. If you guys watch my videos, I do show my hygrometer from time to time, and my humidity stays around 70%, and I always try to get it to be about 60%. But even if I were to look at the Weather Channel or things like that for my area specifically, during the daytime my humidity could be 40%, 40 to 50%, and then at night is when the humidity gets higher. At night the humidity is around 60 to 70%. So I actually, if I were, worried about humidity in my plants, I would actually be better off leaving my plants inside if that's all I cared about was humidity. But it's not as great as it is outside, but you can see outside they still do very well because they get enough light, and the lighting is what the key thing is. That's the most important thing to plants, is to get that light, and that light has gotten me so much extra growth. I mean, I can show you a couple plants that have just popped open new leaves already, and it's only been 3 days, and it's because of the light. Doesn't have anything to do with humidity. So I can show you, this is my Billy Etier, and you can see it's already popped up this new leaf, and you can see like this leaf is a lot bigger compared to the other leaves on this plant. But this leaf was not there when I first brought this plant out. I can show you guys. You guys remember this plant? It was from one of my struggle videos. This is my varicosum, and you can see like even the varicosum has put out a leaf, and it's already got another one on the way there, and it's got another one there. So the lighting is what it makes these plants just go crazy. And you guys will see, this is my Anthurium Plougmanii. It's putting out, this is a new leaf here, and then it's gonna put out another leaf there, but this one's also taking off. My Alocasia Maharani has put off this leaf, or has at least opened the leaf. Here's my Alocasia Black Velvet. This one I think is actually blooming. I believe this is a bloom here. This is a bloom, and then I think this part has a new leaf. So this one's actually blooming and giving me a new leaf. Oh, there's a leaf here. So yeah, they're doing really well out here. And one more, my Anthurium Forgetii is putting out a new leaf, as well as my Anthurium Clarinervium. This one, if you can see this new leaf in here, it's putting out a new leaf. So as you can see, it's not really as much as the humidity as a lot of people put a high amount of emphasis on humidity, and it's really not always just the humidity. I would say the most important thing is light, and that's why I bring my plants outside, because they can get more light than I can ever provide them inside without my house looking like a laboratory. And so that's why I move my plants outside every summer. They just really enjoy it. They take off, and that's why I have such nice full plants, is because I prune them when there's a, when it's a good time, and then I put them outside to get that extra boost, to get that extra growth. So, but if you guys watch Plantarina, she just put her plants outside. She also put her plants outside last year, and she enjoys it as well. So if you need other people to see, there's Plantarina. Only Plants grows his plants outside. There's a lot of people that grows plants outside, and so it's nothing to be scared about. Like I said, you can always just try one if you're really scared or nervous, but if you don't want to, you don't have to at all. So one more thing, someone made a comment about people stealing my plants, and so I do live on the first floor, and what I want to say is, like, I'm just not even going to sugarcoat this, but if you have to steal plants, I just feel like that's really pathetic. I'm not even going to be nice about it, but I mean, they're plants. At the end of the day, they're plants. Yes, some of these plants are expensive and they do go for a hefty price, but at the end of the day, they're plants. And if you wanted to steal a plant, if you just felt the need to steal a plant, I would just feel like that would be really pathetic and stupid, to walk up to someone's house and steal a plant off their porch. I mean, if that's what you want to go to jail for, if you want to be known for is to be stealing plants, I mean, I don't really know what to say about that. But I mean, I don't co-sign people stealing plants, whether it's off someone's porch, in the house, you stealing from somebody's nursery, you're clipping, propping, whatever, from somebody's nursery. I just don't think that's a really good idea. I mean, if you really have to have that plant, just save up the money. I mean, we all work day in and day out. I worked really hard for these plants. I've grown some of them just from little babies and have grown them into full plants, and so I work hard for my plants. I mean, I work like everybody else. I take care of my plants and I grow them out like I want to, and if somebody were to steal a plant from me, I don't know, that would just be really dumb and stupid. So I don't really have any concerns about people stealing my plants, but if they really needed to steal a plant, I would just feel like, I don't think that would be worth it to be, have that on your record and things like that. Not to mention that right now I'm dealing with an angry bird, and I could do a story time on that, but Sage will no longer come outside. Like when you guys saw him in that last video, that's as far as he goes. He will no longer come outside because I have an angry bird out here that is very protective. So we'll have to probably have that for another time. But yeah, so those are all the things I wanted to address in this video. Like I said, if you guys have any other things, put them in the comment section below. I'm very interested. And as always, I just want to thank you guys so much for liking my videos, commenting, and subscribing. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.